Don't question a thing.
We keeping could be used to light the dark, but we anti-gravity lock down humanity, lightning insanity striking inside me. Whoa, whoa, it's the heartbeat of mystery. Whoa, whoa, lightning inside me.
You don't know what you were expecting to find at Grilby's. Maybe the miraculous revival of your slain friends. Perhaps the easygoing and carefree atmosphere of better days. Or maybe you were just searching for something familiar to distract yourself with, to get lost in. But the mood when you enter is too somber. There is melancholy. And all the patrons, far fewer than it should have been, were searching for solace at the bottom of a bottle instead of enjoying good times with friends. You don't know what you were looking for, but this is definitely not what it was. Your entrance doesn't go unnoticed. From one of the booths, a monster recognizes you and calls out,
Hey, it's Sans! Look everyone, Sans is here!
Drunken eyes open and heads turn. Suddenly, you're the center of attention. Everybody's looking at you with sad, weak smiles. Your stomach crawls. This doesn't feel right.
Stop it. Stop smiling at me. Don't you pretend like everything's alright.
Your eyes dart about the room in a frenzy, frantically trying to avoid those insecure, empty smiles, while at the same time, you fight the urge to turn around and leave on the spot. Doing so would raise suspicion, and you'd rather not deal with people asking questions. You catch sight of Grilby at the bar and lock eyes on him. He doesn't have a mouth to smile with, and in this moment, he's your only escape. Shutting out everything else, you make a beeline for him. People chat as you pass.
Hey Sans, we read about Papyrus and the arbitraries.
Sorry, Sans. We're sorry to hear what happened.
You ignore them, pretending they don't exist, on their own words, just white noise. It's one thing to constantly remind yourself of your loss, but it's another thing entirely to hear someone else. It becomes too personal, too real, too hard to continue denying the fact that someone else said it. Grilby watches you in silence as you take your seat, and you can't help but wonder what hollow words of sympathy he has for you. Sans, you look like shit. You smirk involuntarily. Oh, good old Grilby's. You could always trust him to tell you it straight. I haven't seen you around in over a week. Where have you been? You shrug instead of answering. Order your usual, a plain bottle of ketchup. People are concerned about you, Grilby tells you and hands you your condiment.
Meh.
Sans, you are aware it's okay to share your problems with others, right? We're all still recovering from what happened. We understand what you're going through. You shouldn't keep this bottled up. No pun intended.
My problems are my problem, Grilby's.
You squeeze out the rest of the ketchup.
No one needs to worry about them but me.
Grilby replaces your empty bottle with a fresh one and watches you drain the whole thing in one go. Man, exactly how long was it since you last ate? You were hungrier than you thought. So you're going to the memorial service?
Memorial service?
King Asgore is going to hold a tribute of remembrance tomorrow to say our final goodbyes to those who were lost. An invitation was mailed to everyone. At the sight of your sore expression, Grilby goes on. You should come with me, even if you don't find closure. You know what they say about misery and its love for company. With narrowed eyes, you search the flame's head for any sign that he's quipping at your pain, but find none. That's the problem with Grilby sometimes. His voice is as deadpan as his featureless face.
I got other committees.
Sans, you and I both know that's not true.
So? What are you gonna do about it?
If you don't agree to come with me, then I will personally burn down your house and drag you there. I will not allow you to push away those who are trying to help you.
You groan in expression and resign. As an experienced bouncer, there is no arguing with Grilby once he has said his piece. He probably would burn down your house if you didn't go along with him.
Fine. I'll meet you here tomorrow at 8.
The memorial service was every bit as depressing as you could have hoped it would be. Monsters gathered in the courtyard before the king's palace, all dressed in black and paying their respects in silence. King Asgore stood from a balcony on high and recited each name of the fallen and who they were survived by. There were a lot of names, and not all of them had successors. Once Papyrus's name was called, you kept your head down and kind of tuned out. Hearing them call here felt like the last strike of a chisel on a marble sculpture. He was gone, and everybody heard it. It was official, final, set in stone. You couldn't pretend or deny it didn't happen anymore.
Metatron is survived by his cousin, Abs Gabluk.
King Asgore says, reaching the end of his list.
And lastly, if you could all find it in your hearts, please spare a prayer for the human child, who died down here lost and alone.
What? Your eyes snap open, but you keep your gaze fixed on your feet.
Though they had gone astray, may their troubled soul find peace in the next life. Thank you all for coming today. I now bring this ceremony to a close.
And with that, people began to fill out and vanish into the streets. You remain rooted to the spot as they flow past you. Grilby places a searing hand on your shoulder, but you don't even register it. Your entire world has gone dark and it's colder than absolute zero. When you do manage to look up, you're the last one still in the courtyard, and you just barely catch a glimpse of Asgore's robe disappearing into the hallway from the balcony. Gritting your teeth, you pinch the fabric of space-time and go after him. In a blink of an eye, you find yourself in the last corridor, a hallway length behind your king. Okay, real quick, this is a disclaimer for this next part. There's a lot of swearing because Sans gets super mad, so I'm editing a few words out. So if you want to see how mad he really gets, just click on the link in the description and it'll take you to the page where the story is. Otherwise, let's continue.
How dare you?
Your voice quivers with betrayal.
How dare you ask those grinning monsters to mourn for the very demon that killed their loved ones?
Asgore stops in his tracks and sighs. His head and shoulders droop, but he does not turn around.
The loss of a life is tragic, no matter whose it is.
He says without looking at you.
That's a load of shit, and you know it.
Your heart is such a turn of outrage, and duller than you can barely keep your voice from cracking.
Just because someone dies doesn't mean all the wrongs they've done in life are instantly nullified. Killing the devil doesn't turn him back into an angel. It just gives you a dead corpse and all of hell running rampant.
But forgiveness is the first step to the road of recovery, Sans.
Rep headphone users in 3, 2, 1.
Murderers don't deserve to be forgiven! Not even us, Sans.
Asgore asks you, looking over his shoulder. The golden light shining through the stained glass illuminates his tired eyes. And in them, you glimpse Asgore's entire past. In his eyes, you see all the past battles from each of the 6 previous humans that had fallen before this one. In his eyes, you can see the grief and shame he hides by claiming what he does is
For the greater good.
In his eyes, you see your own reflection. The very monster who cut down the human that had murdered so many others.
If you had stopped the humans sooner, you could have prevented all this. You might as well have been the one murdering everyone since you stood by and let it happen.
You realize Asgore's question wasn't rhetorical when he continues to wait for an answer.
No. Especially not us. You and I are the last people who deserve to be forgiven for letting things get this far.
You hug yourself tightly, desperate to stop shaking and fighting to stay on your feet. Asgore turns to face you, and you can only clearly read his intentions. He's going to come over and comfort you and say to you,
It wasn't your fault. Everything's going to be alright.
he was going to tell you everything you didn't want to hear right now, especially coming from him. You swiftly turn on your heels and briskly walk away.
Sans.
You do not heed him. Instead, you screw your eyes shut and will yourself to be as far away from him and this castle as you can possibly get. You duck behind a pillar, and by the time Asgore reaches it, you're already a world away.